Richard.
Yes.
I've mentioned this before. Richard gets all our guests basically up until this point, with maybe the exception of one. And I'm particularly excited for today's guest because, like, I feel like I know him a little bit because he's kind of like a local celebrity. Like, we've never actually met, I don't think, face to face, but like I know who he is, which I hope that doesn't come off as creepy. So Richard, why don't you tell us about our guest today?
I think that is actually quite an introduction already, because that is how I feel about Kevin for a lot of people. And I've known Kevin longer and we've talked quite a bit, obviously, but even before that, again, I feel like I've seen your face, I've heard your voice, you're here and then you're there. And I've been still, even though we've talked and got to know each other a little bit, I'm still curious about the details and how you've come to be Kevin Cascagnette today, and why we see you everywhere. So I'm sure our guests already are going to feel the same way when they see your face pop up or your name. So welcome. We have lots to talk about because this curiosity is burning for both of us. So thank you for coming. We're happy to have you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, you guys. The man, the myth, the legend is here.
Right?
And the way you're building me up here, I'm going to be walking out with my head 3 times larger. But
that's the point. Let's go.
We set the bar really high here at the open house.
Yeah, you're going to learn I'm just a normal guy.
Which, like, so cool anyways. Even if you're a normal guy and you're in the community, we want that for all our audience to see, that we're just normal people doing these things, being part of the community, which I know you appreciate a lot. And it takes a lot of normal people to make a community. So we need more of that.
I think that's everything that a community is normal people and friendly people.
If anyone's seen the YouTube videos or watched the video, in the background, I always put a heart with something inside that kind of represents the person we're recording with. And so I put people in here specifically because I know you have a passion for people and people being with people. So does that make sense? Do you like that?
Yeah, I do like that because I have a friend who is always like astounded that I'm like a big fan of connecting people to other people that I know are going to get along. I don't know if that's what that is or how to define that, but I have a good sense of who can build one another up, I guess. And whether it's common interests or actually sort of the like almost yin and yang of interests, like, okay, I know you're really good at this like creative thing, but you have like no financial knowledge or whatever. These are the 2 people that you need to meet. Or I'm just like a big fan of bringing people together as well, whether it's through, I do a lot of volunteer work. Obviously, I do a lot through North Simcoe Rotaract, which is a huge one of bringing a lot of tons of people from all different walks of life together. But yeah, just in people. I love people, and I love the people in this community, especially.
I get that vibe from you so much.
So Kevin, I know I've seen you everywhere, but this isn't meant to be a super deep question, but maybe it is. But what do you do?
Give us the list.
Right.
I wear a lot of hats. So I have a day job, and I love my day job. And my day job, I'm an art director for Collaborative House Marketing. So we're a full service marketing agency in Midland. So art director means I do graphic design, I do web design, UI and UX. I do social media content. I do photography, video production. Basically, if it's creative, I get to work on it at Collaborative House. So that's my day job. And then
Nice.
I have my own photography business as well. That's like, some would say a side hustle, but it's full-time hours as well. So that's
what kind of stuff are you shooting?
I do weddings, family portraits. I do commercial stuff for different businesses. I don't do real estate, really.
Okay.
I do. I'll do like if a custom home gets built or something like that, I will go and shoot that for the builder or something. But like the photography, my photography business, Kevin Cascagnette Photography, is kind of a great opportunity to meet people in the more like personal sides of their lives, I guess, right? Like capturing a new family, or a really special moment like a wedding or a newborn baby, like those kind of things. So it's kind of nice. The work I do with Collaborative House is very business oriented. Of course, we do a lot with nonprofits as well, which leads to my passion for charity work and volunteering and all that. But then, yeah, the photography business is more personal side. So those are like my jobs. And then outside of my jobs, I volunteer with North Simcoe Rotaract. I helped start the club in 2017, which is like a youth service club, kind of like Rotary, but for younger people looking to give back. And then I also on the board of directors for CLH Foundation, which raises money for CLH developmental support services, supporting people with developmental disabilities. And I've been on the board there for 3 years, and I do volunteer stuff with the hospital, and I do volunteer stuff here and there and everywhere. So
I'll speak for me and Ben here. And we always talk about like, how do you find the time, right? Like you're juggling all these things. How do you find the time? But then now hearing this from you, I'm like super curious how you juggle multiple full-time jobs and all this volunteer work. It sounds crazy.
Well, I don't have kids. So I think that probably helps quite a bit. I know that's like a big chunk of eats up a lot of people's time.
Time suckers. Oh my God. Just never ending.
The cuteness just sucks in. You just can't say
my
no.
life, though,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love the buggers, but
yeah. The nieces and the nephews and stuff like that. But yeah, I think, being able to turn them over back to their parents frees up some time. But I also, I think I find the time just by realizing it all fills my cup in some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
it's easy to do when you love it, right?
Exactly. If you're doing it, and it fills your cup like that, it doesn't quite always feel like work. There's definitely days where work feels like work, but most of the time it's creative and fun and exciting and different. So
word that when you were explaining the photography and like the, being in someone's personal moment, I think that you're referring to like the intimacy of it. Because you are now like permanently part of that family's moment or time in their life. And I think capturing it is so valuable. I try to explain this to my kids that, why photos are important and how they last forever and something you can look back on. And because we have so many photos these days, we also don't appreciate our childhood of having like 1 or 2 photos of our childhood or like just a handful. Now we can just have photos everywhere. So we don't appreciate the same.
Do you think
your photos are impactful?
Do you think photography has changed because of that? Like we used to you used to have the disposable camera. You had 24 like images and that's it versus now it's like, I think my storage is, oh, nice. He's for our listeners. Yeah. Holding up a disposable camera. Nice. Right on cue. But yeah, how do you think it's changed because of that?
I think photography, it's amazing. I think it's amazing that we have this ability to capture so much all the time. I think you're also like a lot more likely, like it's harder to find that like golden nugget, I guess, maybe a little bit, right? Like I think some of when we think back to like our childhood, and like Richard said, the pictures weren't there weren't quite as many all the time. They hold a lot more weight, whereas now because there's so many, they maybe don't have the same weight. I think that's where sessions with a professional obviously start to come and have quite a bit of weight, because what it ends up doing is it's taking a family and out of sort of the day-to-day and just enjoying each other's company, which maybe we're not the greatest at in today's day and age with the speed in which we're consuming and running from place to place. So I think that's where the weight and the value of the photos starts to come in with a photographer, especially. Mm-hmm. But then I think it's great that I take 1 million pictures on my phone every day, all the time. And getting the little memory flashbacks or posting to a Facebook story or whatever, I think that's fantastic too. I think it's great that we get to enjoy photography so much more. I think we also, it's like really special when we realize a picture's special. Because we take so many, we'll get 1 or 2 in a month that we're like, that's a good picture. And I think the main issue that I think we're running into is people aren't doing anything with those really good pictures. Like we all, if you look back in the last month, there's probably a picture that you're like, oh, that's a really good picture of X, whether it's a sunset or my kid or my friend or whatever. The thing that I want people to do more of is print it out or put it even in a digital frame or something, but like, don't let it just sit in the hundreds of thousands of photos.
The void.
Yeah. That's the caveat, I guess. That's the issue we're running into.
I like that. I know we try every year to do a photo book of the year and like separate it by month. So like, my wife and I will sit down, mostly my wife, because she heads this project. Let's be serious. We'll sit down, we'll go through each month and try and pull those photos. Yeah. But it's effort, but I think it's worth it.
It is worth it. And I think I love the photo book idea. Sometimes I say like lower barrier is also great. Like just print 2 pictures out into little 4x6s or something and put them on like a bulletin board in an office, or have them sitting out, just living in the real world.
I think it is. Houses don't have like those walls of pictures like they used to, going up the stairs that everybody used to have. We don't have that the same.
No.
But I also think 2 things that you were saying. I don't know if you guys remember the days of having to go to like an actual photo place, like a place that had like the background.
1 hour photo. Oh, yeah. You mean like Sears?
Well, Sears or Walmart, I think, had it at some point, and you would go in and you get all organized with your family, and they give you props and stuff. And now we can just have Kevin Cascagnette show up on a beach and take photos. Like, what a different world.
And that's the thing. Like I have most of my clients are repeat. Like where I've like seen the kids at 3 and now the kids are like 14.
That's deep.
Right. And it's kind of cool because it's like, we're going to do this one time, or we're going up to the cottage this time. We're going to do the photos at the cottage, or we're doing it at the beach, or there's all these different memories. And there's all this growth that I get to see with these families, which I guess leads back to that people in the heart and my love of people and seeing that growth that a family gets to have.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice. Super important. Like you're making a difference in so many people's lives that way. It seems small, but it really isn't. It's really big. And something that I underrated when I first had kids, my wife was booking these sessions for photos, and I really didn't get the importance of it. I was like, sure, let's go. I'm on board, whatever. But then now as my kids are older, there's so much value in it. And she saw that before I saw that. But now I'm excited when we do the photo shoots. So I have a bit more motivation.
I say they age like a fine wine. Like they just get better with time. Even the bad ones get better with time. Like sometimes parents, if it's their first time booking me or whatever, and I understand it's an investment for me to come out. And if the kids are not having a great time because it's their first time, maybe they're nervous, they're like melting down. The parents can get a little like, oh no, this isn't. I go, oh no, these pictures are just there. You give it time. You're going to love these pictures in like 20 years when they're like grown adults. You're going to love these pictures.
They bring their significant other home. Like, look, you're dating this. Here you go.
Like I always, if a kid melts down, I do like a really artsy black and white version of the meltdown picture. So that, when you go to print it, that will look
emphasize the drama behind the child, basically.
Yeah. Awesome. Or if a dog is on the shoot and then the dog is having a shit, I definitely take a black and white photo of the dog having a shit. So.
Right. They make whole calendars of that, and they're great.
That's right.
The eye contact when they do it too is just chef's kiss.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh man, I love that. So that's one side of Kevin Cascagnette.
Yeah, I've got to ask because I sorry, just before we move on from that,
sure.
Just because I'm an actor and whatever. Do you do film? Are you a movie guy?
I do some video projects. The video projects that I do are usually just for a handful of different charities. Like I do a video every year for CLH Foundation to just kind of show the impact that donors are making. So it's a little more like documentary style, just like interviewing people where the donations have made an impact and then showing, where those donations have gone. So that's about the extent of the video that I'll do, like more documentary style.
Okay, cool. Sorry, Richard, back to you, buddy.
It's all good. We roll along. It's all good. I'm happy to keep talking about whatever with Kevin because I'm curious again. So C House, Seems like a great company. I've met a few people that work there, and I think even like the founder, Nicole.
C House being collaborative house for
Right.
our listeners who are not
Right.
familiar. Just took me a second.
Seems like a really down to earth company. Seems like everybody vibes just from what I'm seeing on the outside. Was it like that when you joined? Like, and how long have you been with them?
So I'm coming up in March. I will have been with Collaborative House for 10 years, which is like really crazy.
Oh my gosh. You started when you were like, what, 16, 18?
I was 21 when I started there. And so I like learned on the job, which was amazing. I have no formal education. That's also a kind of an interesting part that not everyone realizes about me, I guess, is I didn't go to college or university. I started working for a photographer when I was in high school. And then when I graduated, she offered me a full-time job. And I just started picking up more skills working for her and running her studio and doing design for her. And then I got introduced to Nicole at Collaborative House. And so, yeah, that was 10 years ago. And when I joined, there were 4 or 5 of us where we fluctuated. We had a team of 12 at one point, and then now we're about, I think, 9 team members. And it's a really great group. Our office is right downtown. We can work from home. Many of us work from home, but a lot of us go into the office because we like kind of laughing and being idiots with each other. We're very much like this quirky band of misfits, I think is a good way to describe our team. We have a table in our office. It's like our boardroom table, and was made by a local woodworking company. And it was all the runoffs from their other projects, but beautiful wood, like different cool wood that you wouldn't normally see. But it's all these runoffs. And then they've stacked all these pieces of their runoffs together to make our table. And it's a really beautiful table. And we're the runoffs that have been all stacked together and make this beautiful thing. Maybe we'd be a little totally weird if we were on our own, but together we make this really beautiful thing. So yeah, the table's a really good analogy that just kind of happened for us.
Love that so much.
Finding myself in a room full of misfits is, I don't know, it feels like that's the place things happen. That's where the fun is. That's my type of people. So I love that. And just a note for our listeners, or even Ben, Collaborative House actually started across the street from my house. So in a house across the street from my house, me and Kevin found out that when I had first moved, the year I moved, he was actually working across the street from my house. I didn't realize that at the time, but yeah, they were running the business out of the house.
White House there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. So it started as the 2 founders, Nicole and Jason. It just started as just those 2, and then it's just continued to grow. And a little secret about Collaborative House that I don't think it's like there's that analogy of the shoemaker's children's feet always go bare or whatever. We're really good at marketing other people. We're probably not the best at marketing ourselves. We're like humble people, but we've worked with brands across Canada, like major brands. And we've worked overseas with major brands as well. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of us, our favorite thing to work on is all the local businesses that we get to work with here. But we kind of get this cool thing where we get to work with bigger budgets, newer technologies with some of these bigger companies, and then bring that knowledge and approach to some of our smaller clients as well, right? So one of my favorite things that I do there is run workshops where we kind of sit down with business owners and figure out, what do you actually need? Like, you can come to me with what you think you need, but if we talk to you and we talk to your clients and your team members, what are your actual pain points? What are areas that you can improve? What do you actually need out of your website, out of your web presence, whatever, right? So a lot of that is kind of new for some of our smaller businesses who are used to just knock, knock, knock. I need a website. Give me the website. Thanks. When we kind of challenge them a little bit more and say, no, there needs to be a little bit more strategy. I think it's kind of exciting for them and for us.
Man, That is so great. Like, coming from real estate where, if I can be frank, our marketing sucks. Like, oh, here's a pen, here's a water bottle, here's I think pushing people when they come to the door, being like, hey, I want some marketing. Let's just do I'm in love. I'll say
on our window when you walk in, come with questions, leave with strategy. Like, we're really big about not just giving you a pen or a poster or what, like really thinking about what is a user going to want and need.
This reminds me, I didn't get a mug at your thing the other day. Darn it. They had mugs. Kevin was doing a social media workshop. Great information, honestly, super valuable, especially for someone like me that's just trying to figure it out. And we talked a bit about this. But they had mugs on display with Collaborative House, and I didn't take one. Not that I don't have 1,000 mugs already. But yeah, I know, right? One time, what me and Kevin were talking about, though, after we had a little bit of a chat, and it was the importance of not just taking your clients and dropping them in a bucket like they're like everybody else. Oh, you look like you fit here. You look like you fit here. It's actually, and me and Ben do this, I think, well in our businesses, is sitting down, treating someone like an individual, giving them that individual attention and strategy. It's super important. And I think our society misses out a lot. We all miss the individualism. So that's good work. I like that.
We sometimes talk about the golden rule, treat people how you would want to be treated. But I've been talking with a few people more and more about the platinum rule is like, instead of treating them the way you want to be treated, treat them the way they want to be treated. Mm-hmm. Right? What works for me might not necessarily work for the person across the table from me. So like, how can I understand that and cater what I'm doing to that?
And the only way you can do that is by getting to know them, asking the right questions and getting deep, right?
Yeah. We because we work with such a range of like small King Street businesses to bigger charities dealing with millions and millions of dollars to big corporations, we get a vast array of people. And there's some people you work with in one way, and other people you adjust your approach a little bit. Maybe it's a softer touch when you're telling them that they're doing something wrong. Right. My big thing that I learned years ago at a conference was sometimes you have to trick your client into thinking it was their idea. Like, this was a beautiful poster idea you came up with. That was smart. And then, those are certain clients that you have to do that. I'm sure you guys have dealt with people like that.
Right. So dealing with these big brands, are we getting like discounts on like some designer stuff here? Like, are there any?
We got chocolate. We did a bunch of work for Lynn, and so we got a bunch of chocolate ones. So that was nice. Cool. It's never that glamorous. But for years, one of our big clients was Superior Propane.
Okay.
So we didn't any
no free propane. No. See, lately I've been watching a lot of Emily in Paris, so I'm just imagining your office is that show. I'll be honest. No,
we're not.
Okay.
We're not.
Comparing someone's life to a TV show is tough.
Right. You mean GBGH isn't exactly like Grey's Anatomy? What?
Probably more like Scrubs.
Pitt is. I've been watching The Pit. And
I've heard good things. I think it's on.
I would say our office is a lot like The Office.
Dude, I want to work there. I love The Office.
Me too.
Oh man! One thing that came to mind when I was thinking about topics, or thinking about you, Kevin, is something that we talk about in some of the masterminds that my team has. Is activity breeds activity. And I think this is why you are all over the place and recognizable and everything. Is you're just so active and so busy. So you're in front of so many different people, and that just makes you busier. Do you feel like that's how it works for you?
Yeah, I would say it's almost like passive networking is kind of how I describe it. Of just, I don't go out with the intention of building connections to support my business or support my work at Collaborative House. But I think just being out and being busy and meeting people, again, not with the intention of trying to get their business, but just genuinely, interested to learn about them, ends up benefiting me in the long run. I think it goes back to, like, if you're a good human, if you're a good person, it finds its way back to you. I don't know if you believe in karma and all of that, but I really, really believe in karma. When I first got my pickup truck, I did not know how to drive it. And I pulled into a parking spot that was way too tight and just obliterated a woman's car. I had the truck less than 4 months and I did that.
Oh no.
And I stayed. It was at Christmas time and I stayed and I waited and got her information, paid for all her damage or whatever. And then, years later, the same exact thing happened to me with my car. And they stayed. They didn't have to. And I mean, that's a very literal sense of karma making its way back. But the idea of just, being a good person gets you a reputation beyond the skill set that you have and is more just a personality. That reputation of personality goes so far in anything, really. I think so often people are hiring me because I'm fun to be around, not necessarily like, I think the photos are good. Like, I think what I end up producing is really great too, but there's a lot of really great photographers out there, but I want it to be fun. And I think people have fun when they're hanging out with me, kind of. So
I could see it.
I think that's so true. And I don't know if you've watched any of our episodes, but this podcast seems like it's made for someone like you, honestly, just to sit down and hear about local people that are telling their stories and getting to know them.
It's been fun listening to hear so many people. The funny thing is I already know every single person.
Of course.
There was one I didn't know. But I know Amber. I've known Amber for years, and Sherelle works down the hall for me. And so I'm always out trying to meet new people and just have a good time. Life is short and you gotta have a good time and enjoy all the quirks that people have to offer, I think.
Oh yeah. Enjoying life. Life is beautiful.
Seize the carp.
It. Yeah.
Carp the day.
Carpe the diem?
Yeah, that's the one.
Do we all have a tattoo of carpe diem?
I saw this quote today. I know love is real because I have so much love in me to give. And it really resonated with me because I love so many people that I meet. And I just think going through with that open heart and love for the world, it finds its way back. And yeah, I don't go out with I actually hate like formal networking and like grip and grin and like handshakes and like infomercials and everything. And even Richard, I think my presentation yesterday, as much as I was talking about social media, I was talking about the psychology of social media more than anything and about being an authentic person. Because I hate that sometimes formal networking becomes so inauthentic. So being a more passive networker is sort of how I go about the world, I guess.
Well, like you said, if it's forced, it's probably not going to be as fun.
No.
And if your aim is to have fun, you got to be yourself. Because if you're not being yourself, you really aren't going to enjoy it. You're going to mask the enjoyment, but it's not going to be real. You're with your people here, Kevin. We are both like that. We embrace people like that. I think our world functions and needs more people like that. It's a mentality that should be contagious.
And I think it's interesting. Sometimes we'll run into people that you can tell they haven't quite caught on to that yet.
Yeah, totally. They may learn though. If they spend enough time around people like yourself or even me or Ben, like it is contagious. I think people do start to get on that. After being in the corporate environment, I told you yesterday about like the psychological damage that working in a corporate environment does. And I think that is part of it. I think that is part of it because you're forcing the fun, you're forcing your enjoyment. You don't actually care to be there. You're not with the people that you really want to be with, doing the things you really want to do. And it is damaging for a lot of people. And I'm glad, like, here I am in the world where, today doing a podcast, sitting with you guys talking. I don't even know if I'd be part of Rotaract if I was still at the bank. I don't know if we ever would have met. And so I'm happy that I'm finding people like this that are like me in the world.
This is work, damn it. And if anyone's listening being like, oh, I'm considering like going the entrepreneurship route and you're in corporate right now, it isn't all roses and daisies and sunshine. It is still hard. And
when, you go through the slow months and you're looking at the bank account going, Woo!
Yeah.
I've done that.
Right? How much overdraft do I have again? Yeah.
I've never worked in a corporate setting, and I don't think I ever could. I enjoy the flexibility and the zest that comes from not corporate settings.
This is why you are who you are, because you haven't been tainted by that. Personally, like,
Richard hates corporate jobs, just so everyone knows.
for fair reason. I have my reasons.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair. We do a lot of work with like corporate or municipalities, and there's just it's very much a different environment working with those clients than entrepreneurs. Different timelines too.
Right.
Okay, cut this, but like when we work with a municipality, the timeline is like
Wow.
entrepreneurs are like, we got to get this out, next
You're
week.
saying that like it's a secret, but we all know that. We see the construction for 3 years in the same
I just
spot.
don't want the towns to come from me.
I go to a planners meeting once a year, and it is like the most forced thing I think the planners have to do all year, where it's like, this is what's going on, this is the projects. And then you get questions from like the realtor crowd being like, well, this isn't off topic and has nothing to do with your job, but please answer why the town is doing this. It's like, dude, I'm just in planning. Please stop asking. Like, I want to go home.
Wow. Yeah, I think the world is changing. We talked a bit. We had Jess on the pod right before you, and we were talking about this growing sense of demand for entrepreneurship in our generation. People that want to get out of that corporate environment, they want to be with the people they love. Do you see that? Do you feel that? Especially because you've been in Rotaract for almost 10 years now. Do you see that changing? Is it growing?
Yeah, I would say there's a shift in our generation, and I have friends who are younger entrepreneurs as well, and I see this shift in people wanting better for themselves and for their peers. I have a really great friend, Emily, who you should get on the pod.
Noted.
Who is young. She's 22, so very much at the start of her career, already has created this incredible Emily's aesthetics business. Mm-hmm. She has 2 other practitioners working with her now, and she has shifted her model to be what she'd want. We go back, like if we talk about how we want to talk to our clients, we want to talk to them like how we'd want to be spoken to. She's treating her employees how she wishes she had been treated when she started in the aesthetics industry, right? So I think that's why there's a bit of a push for young people and our generation to shift towards entrepreneurship, is because we're realizing that the only way we make things better is by taking the reins ourselves and directing that change and saying, no, I'm going to pay better, or I'm going to give more paid time off, or I'm going to just follow, the heart, or all the cheesy stuff. But it's just this realization that the only way things get better is if you start to control it yourself, I think.
Yeah. And as Ben mentioned, entrepreneurship is not easy, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows and roses. But you're willing to do the hard stuff and put in all that effort, knowing that you're doing it for yourself, and you actually are enjoying it because you're choosing what you're doing. So it's actually easier. I find it easier to do the hard stuff than when you're in a corporate environment, kind of forced or being told to do it. So I think that's changing as well. Now, I think it is a big change. And Emily was sitting behind me you called her out actually. And I think she follows the podcast, not going to lie, on Instagram. Yeah. So she might hear that. You're a big fan.
She might hear that. She should hear it. She knows I think she's the greatest. And she's doing everything right. I think I think there's a shift in the entrepreneurs of our generation and younger, of a lot more collaboration in general, and a lot more seeing people who work in completely different fields almost as like our coworkers that we can lean on, right? Like in a corporate job, there's elements of a corporate job that are certainly appealing, of, you know, like the big Christmas parties and the big opportunities to go out for lunch as a group or whatever, right? We're realizing that, yeah, a solo entrepreneur, you still need that sort of element of camaraderie, right? And that's where places like Rotaract come in. So many of the people in Rotaract are entrepreneurs or have an entrepreneurial spirit, I'd call it. And so it gives someone like Jess, who's an entrepreneur, opportunity to connect with Richard or me and say, oh, I'm like feeling this today. Like, do you ever feel that way? And we're all like 100%. We're all in the same boat here. Yeah, you're doing art and I'm doing photography and you're doing mortgages, but we're, as people, all dealing with the same issues, essentially.
The importance of talking to people, getting their perspective, understanding you're not alone. Yeah, that is, and Ben mentions this all the time, is the loneliness of the business. And, you know, we found each other just through business, but the beauty in it, right? You can call me and tell me what's going on and we can relate. So it's so important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's lovely.
What'd you have to say there, Ben? You had something you wanted to say?
No, I mean, nothing particular. I was going to add nothing of substance. So I will say, with like being an entrepreneur, my staff Christmas party is pretty wicked. I just go by myself down to test batches, crush like 4 or 5 beers, call my wife to pick me up and go home. So, I mean, I still get the Christmas.
Jamie Tripp of Test Batches and Leslie, those are the ultimate entrepreneurs. That's who I strive to be. That, right? As much as we talk about our generation and younger, and you know, they're setting a good standard. Jamie and Leslie, they're the platinum standard. Like, they pay a living wage to their employees. They've created a beautiful space, and this is their second time doing it. You know, they had Tripp's Paint for decades, and did such a great job. So yeah, as much as I'm building up our generation as like these old entrepreneurs, they exist in older generations as well. Right.
I keep mustering up the courage to ask Jamie to come on the podcast every time I go in there. I'm sure it's a slam dunk, yes, but next time I will do it. You've heard it here first on the Open House podcast.
I think get both of them at the same time would be the ultimate, because I've known Jamie and Leslie for a long time, and they are together. Like they are what they are because of who they are together, I think.
Yeah. I think that'd be an interesting to hear, like, because I've heard bits and pieces. Like I'm new to the community. I've only been here for 4 years. Right. But I've the
last Robitaille?
I know, I blend in really nicely, right?
This comes up every time.
Surprise!
I feel like we're probably cousins somewhere down the line.
We could be. I mean, the Robitaille, there was a lot of work to do in the farms, and it was cold in the winter, and they needed, hams. But no, I'm from Northern Ontario originally. I grew up near North Bay in Mattawa. Okay. But yeah, no. So back to Leslie and Jamie. Like, I've heard so much about them. Like, I know Tripp's Paint existed. I did like a show at Test Batches when it first opened. But it'd be really cool to hear the story from like the beginning.
Yeah, I'm super curious, and just the way Kevin's talking about it makes me even more curious.
And I mean,
I've only had brief conversations with Jamie.
And now that you've brought them up, I kind of feel like you're a version of that, like a version of them, because like I know so much about them. I mean, I've been in Test Batches and like we've spoken a little bit, but I feel like I've kind of had the same perception of you as like, okay, this is a guy like everyone in the community knows, right? So I feel
Jamie's a great person to aspire to be like, and to be in the same breath as him is a huge compliment to me. But he's been a Rotarian for over 25 years, I think. Wow. Maybe even longer than that, So yeah, when I was kind of coming up in the community, I looked to him as someone that I would like to be like. He runs a successful business. He is liked by the majority of the community. He gives back, and he doesn't take himself too seriously either. Yeah. I have a great mentor, Sarah Kitchen, also another entrepreneur, who is the president of the CLH Foundation board. And she has a great quote that she says about the work that we do for the foundation, which is, we take our work seriously, we don't take ourselves seriously. And, having fun in the day to the day, but, the work is important.
Yeah. Love that.
I'm just going to keep name dropping all these great people. We're back to the part.
Richard, I think we can agree Kevin will curate our guest list for the rest of the season. Yeah.
We have behind the scenes producer just lining up the guests.
We can give you the credit.
We do ask our guests, like, hey, if there's anyone that you think could be on the podcast or would be a great guest, like, shoot me a message and just give me a list.
I have a list.
I'm sure you do. You might have the ultimate list. Just give me
I
all
feel
your
like
contacts.
my life is a quilt. I feel like my life is a quilt, and it is like a tapestry of all these fantastic people that help make me who I am and build me up. And
love that. That actually makes me think of something that is super important when you're an entrepreneur, and that's mentorship. Like someone like Jamie, do you think that you've had conversations with him, kind of helping with some of the like decisions you're making in your life? Do you think you could go to him and get that type of support, or has he already been like that to you at all?
Not in that sense. I think he's been a community mentor. I think like sort of my perspective of our community itself shifts whenever I have a great conversation with him about, what I can do to make our community better. But then I do have other mentors that like I have many mentors, and they've come and gone through life. And I think mentorship is a hugely important piece of being an entrepreneur. And I think sometimes mentorship gets mixed up with like guruship. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but like this idea of like what they say is like gospel and you have to like follow it to the letter. I think mentorship is great because you can look to your mentor and see what they've done great and take that and learn from that and get that advice. And you can look to your mentor and see what they've done that you're not a fan of and that you would change, and you would do differently, right? So I think that's like a thing as an entrepreneur you have to be aware of when you find these mentors that fill all these different buckets for you, is they're showing you the good and they're showing you the things not to do, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. Set the example all around.
I like the term. Oh, I was going to say I like the term R&D, but not research and development. Rip off and duplicate. If something's working well for somebody, like how do I take it, make it my own, and put it in place? Like it's, I think. Yeah,
I would say maybe remix and duplicate.
Yeah, that's probably the nicer way to put it. You're right.
Yeah. And it's the idea of putting your own spin on things too, right?
Yeah.
I had a realtor named Judith Clapperton. She works at Century 21, and she's an older woman, great lady, just like a young person in an older person's body. She's just got all this energy. I don't know if you've met her, Kevin, but she like came out of retirement at 70, wanted to be a realtor, wanted to change her life. I think it's an epic story. I'd love to have her on the pod, honestly, just to hear a bit more about it. But totally. She talked to me about having your mentorship as a board of directors, where you have someone that you can, reach out to in certain parts of your life, whether it's relationships, business, community, whatever. And it's good to have a board of directors that you can lean on. So when you're young, you really should be having your eye out, but collecting these people, putting them in slots, and then not being afraid to go out and ask them questions or touch with them. And so, like you said, you might have many mentors, and they come and go. They do come and go.
Yeah. And I think sometimes you find a couple mentors who fill a lot of needs as well. And you can sometimes turn to them and rely on them for a lot of different advice. And I think mentorship also isn't just older people. I think we find a lot of mentors who are almost younger than us sometimes, or our peers who can help us guide the way,
I see that in Rotaract. I think I get a lot of value from all you guys. And even though you don't realize it, it is subtly influencing you. Every meeting we have, every time I talk to you or Jess or Alyssa, like there is something about that is influencing me in a good way, in a great way. I think Rotaract is underrated. I would like Ben to come on. We've talked about this, but this guy just finds, just like you, he finds himself doing 100 things. I don't know how he manages it. So adding another thing sounds unrealistic, but he'd be a great fit, I think.
Never say
Yeah,
never, in the words of the prophet Justin Bieber. Sorry.
Say that again.
I said, in the words of the prophet Justin Bieber, never say never.
I think, no, that's good. I like that. I think sometimes people build up the Rotaract commitment bigger than it is, and then that prevents them from joining.
Richard said I have to run a half marathon to even be considered.
No, we run as in organized. Yeah, we have our big butter tart trot coming up in June, and half marathon, 5K, 10K, kids fun run, all that good stuff. But yeah, I think sometimes people build up the Rotaract commitment, or just the idea of joining any kind of formal group, whether it's Rotaract or Rotary or Lions or even a networking group. It's what you make of it, right? We have some members who really mostly just participate through our online chats to give their 2 cents and then show up on days of events. And then we have other members who are like feet first, like Paris, who's, organizing cardboard toboggan races and organizing volunteers for butter tart trot and this and that, and baking us cookies for meetings. Like,
oh my goodness,
it's what you make it. Right. She makes it. She's the best, actually.
Yeah, she's wicked. Like one thing I thought about, Ben, with the butter tart trot was just, we always need hands on deck and support. And you've done enough races, like, I don't know if you know this, Kevin, but Ben does like to do long races. So I kind of thought your experience, and you're like, you've been to so many things to see what works, what doesn't, because a lot of us, we're not runners. There's a couple of us that are runners, but I've never run a marathon. So people are like trying to get ideas, and I got nothing on the table. Handing
out butter tarts at a race is a giant leap in the right direction.
Yeah, I approached a friend of mine who runs a therapy clinic about sponsoring the event, and she does DBT, which is dialectical therapy, and 2 things can be true at once. And I said, this is a perfect event for you because we're healthy, running and out in the sunshine, and we're giving the butter tarts. So this is like a 2 things can be true at once scenario,
right? Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what makes it beautiful. It is like one of a kind. No one else is doing that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm excited for this year.
But yeah, Ben, I think I will say, like, I kind of thought the same thing about Rotaract. I was like, I got to make every meeting. But there were moments where I feel like I'm busy and I can't make the meetings. And then there's moments where I can. And I found the longer I've been in the group, the more I want to get to the meetings. It's not, I feel like I have to. I'm like, I want to go. Like, I want to be there with you guys.
I see more and more of you, Richard, now. Like, the longer, and that's for a lot of people, the longer they're in it, the more they start to show up. And we also, because of the age of the group, we have people who kind of come and go too, right? Like, they might have their first kid, and obviously that's huge and takes up a lot of your time. So, we'll say sayonara, and then
see you in 18 years,
or even just back to a little more manageable. Then they're back. So
all right, we'll talk after the episode.
I think I got a little intimidated when I first started, because I will say, like, you have a big personality, Kevin. And at first I was a little intimidated. And it's not just you. There's other people in the group that have big personalities, like Alyssa and stuff. I felt a little intimidated. I was like, oh, I'm not like that, so I don't belong. But then I found my place, and we've spent more time. But instead of being intimidated by your personality, I envy it. I feel like I grew envious of it, and I want to be like that more. So
I think you've adapted to be more like our big personalities too. Like, I feel like,
you guys are mentoring me.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah. No, I guess I do have a big personality, some may say. If there's a microphone or a megaphone, I find it anywhere and make my way there. And
I've seen you with a megaphone.
I love a megaphone.
I think people love you having a megaphone, to be honest. That's why you end up with it.
Maybe.
So enough about Rotaract. I think, again, we all know it's amazing. Actually, last question about Rotaract. What made you start that? Like, what was your influence?
I had no idea what it was. And it was an amazing local person named Jenna Reed, who was a Rotary exchange student, and her mom is a Rotarian. And she came back to the community after being away at school for quite a few years. And was like, how the heck do I meet anybody in town anymore? All the bars are closing. All the places that young people hang out don't exist here. So then, yeah, she found out that Rotaract was a thing and started the club. So she had a meeting to see if there would be any interest, and I got invited to come out to that meeting because people knew I liked the community and wanted it to be better. And yeah, I think it stemmed from a desire to connect with people who were like-minded and who wanted to do better for our community. That's what.
Yeah, definitely such a need. Once you start hearing it from your peers and everything, it's easy to jump in and try to find a solution for all of you. Because yeah, me and Ben have been out of the dating game for a long time. I can't imagine what that's like nowadays. Something we can't relate to at all. But
yeah, meeting any new people is tricky in a small town and in a small community.
But I'm like you. I like matchmaking. I like connecting people that have similar personalities. I genuinely get really excited when there's two people in my life that I know don't know each other, and I'm going to like be the one to like bring them together, and then seeing them just like become their own thing is like, oh, that's such a, I even like in these situations, I feel
I'm
like
responsible for that.
yeah. But I feel like I do this to Ben because he doesn't know any of the guests, and I kind of know some people, so I just bring the guests on, and then he's just like, we've become friends. We're friends now.
I love it.
Like, I'm a local Robitaille now.
You betcha. Watch out, world. I like it when those two friends get to.
That's like literally we could be cousins.
I wouldn't take it off the table. It's very possible. No, I was just saying, I like it when those two people get together that you've matchmaked and they like have a kid. And when the kid gets old enough, you just like whisper in their ear every so often, like, hey, you're welcome. You exist because of me.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I do that.
No? Just me? Okay. Yeah, good to know.
That's just the Ben Robitaille.
No one else knows this, but I am your godfather. Self-proclaimed.
Yes. Yeah. Kevin, I'm curious. You do a lot of things, obviously. What do you do to like decode, like when you're not with people, with work, what do you like to do
with that minimal amount of time?
Like, are you like a gamer? Do you like watch
movies? I do like playing video games, and I usually play like story video games.
Okay.
So not
RPGs.
Because then it's just me, and it's like living a different life, a little escape from the day to day. The other thing that I have, like relatively new, I got it not this past fall, the fall before. So last summer was my first summer with my convertible car.
Okay.
So that's like probably at the very top of one of my favorite things to do to decompress is just on a beautiful summer day, cruise around, top down, music blaring. Usually nice. I like to go pick up friends though. Like,
right.
Like when you're not with people, I like being around people all the time.
Okay. I didn't know about the video games. That's a new thing. What, tell me about your like favorite game or a game that really made an impression.
Favorite game of all time would definitely be Red Dead Redemption 2. That's way up there. Just crazy graphics, crazy immersion. And create like watching a movie. I don't know if either of you have played it, but it's like a movie, and it's emotional, and it makes you laugh, and it makes you.
The characters are so good. They're so deep. Yeah. You get really part of that. Again, your need for people, it plays even into your video game choices.
Yeah, it does. I love people's stories. Like those are the movies that I like to watch. Those are the games that I like to play. I just it's the work I like to do is telling and capturing people's stories and witnessing what makes them them. I think.
Yeah,
so, I guess it does video games.
Yeah, me and Emily reads books. She's always been a bookie, and I've played video games all my life. And I try to explain to her that video games are a lot like a book. There's a lot of words, there's a lot of depth to it, a lot of conversation. You get to know characters. You actually build real relationships in these games, and dramatic moments happen where people die or bad things happen. And so you feel the emotions. I don't know if you've ever played a game called Mass Effect. Have you ever heard of Mass Effect?
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably one of my favorites. And just so you know, Ben, or anyone that's listening, that it's a 3-game trilogy where your decisions in the game impact the second and third game. So if you made a decision that was good or bad, or you let someone die over saving someone else or whatever, later in the game, it changes how everything unfolds. So if you want to play a whole new playthrough, you have to almost start game 1 and go all the way through it again to change your narrative.
That sounds like a wild game to make.
It is the ultimate RPG. But I will say, when that game came to a close in the final, like, you're going through the last, I don't know if you remember the last episode, basically, chapter, and you're seeing all the characters that are like have made it this far and you've made a relationship with, and you kind of have a conversation with them.
And the ones that are missing.
And the ones that are missing. And holy God, you just get through this crazy range of emotions. And I think a book compares to
tears?
it, but I actually think it's even more. Oh, I've definitely cried at video games, 100%.
I love that.
Yeah, it's deep. And I think we have multiplayer games so much nowadays that people almost forget the value of that single player experience.
I think they're coming back though. I think people are real. I think maybe people just need an escape from the world right now.
What?
It's a little crazy out there. So that's where the story games start to take hold, because it's not war always either, right? It's because we're on the verge. So like a game that's not war is great. I
love career mode on Formula One. That's more I love.
Those
Ben's a racer. Ben's like the racing game. He's got a racing sim, so that's where he is.
Wow, that's cool. That's cool. There's a game that came out like just in the fall, I guess, called Dispatch, and I don't know if either of you have played it, but it's like
I've heard of it.
A cartoon. It's animated. There's like barely any video game like controlling, but you're just making decisions more than anything. It's just a decision-making game and controlling the narrative that way, and it's just watching a ripple effect, and there's something so satisfying and fun about that.
I haven't played it, but I know it, and I know some of the voice actors that were in it. Obviously, being a video gamer, you know some of the people, and I think that is the pinnacle of it. Is something we underrate too in animation is the voice acting, and the voice acting in that game is impeccable, drives the narrative, but definitely a different type of video game experience than your typical RPG.
Yeah. And speaking of really good voice acting, video games like God of War, the newer God of War, those two were incredible, and now they're making a TV show out of it, which is funny. Like, it's funny seeing how many video games are getting turned into TV shows now. But
I think they tried in the past and they just failed too many times, right? So
I think the video games before didn't really follow these really impactful stories like they do now as well.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've had one audition for voice in a video game, and I had to do a Boston accent. It was not good.
Is this Fallout 4?
Can we get a sample of it here?
Oh God, what do I have to say? Like, God, Margaret, like
Donnie,
clam chowder.
Get in here and eat your dinner.
I apologize if we have anyone from Boston listening to this episode.
No, they're gonna laugh.
I'm sorry.
They love it.
You wanna my favorite right now is I've been watching the Ted TV show.
Okay.
Is like Ted, the teddy bear with Mark Wahlberg movie, but it's a prequel and it's set in the 90s, and it's just their Boston accents, swearing and getting into hijinks, and he's in high school, and it's hilarious. Like, if you want a funny show, that I highly recommend it.
I was worried it was like gonna like let down the movie, but if okay.
No, I liked it. It's kind of like almost like live action Family Guy.
Nice. All right, I can get on board with that.
Talking dog, talking bear. Oh, it makes sense. I haven't been thinking about asking this, but do you have any questions for me and Ben? Anything that you're curious about coming on the podcast?
Oh my God, I didn't know that's what I was supposed to do on the podcast.
I haven't been asking, but I just been thinking about if that's.
Well, now that I know Ben Robitaille is not a local Robitaille, I guess one of my questions is what brought you to this community?
Love.
Oh.
No, okay. So, I met my wife. We lived on the same floor at Western. She went to Queens. We kind of moved around for a little bit. We ended up living in Kitchener for 2 years, and then we moved to Hamilton for 5 years. And that's when I got into real estate and that kind of thing. And we were trying to buy a house. COVID hit. Prices were crazy. We were getting outbid left, right, and center. And we went for a walk one day, and we kind of looked at each other. We were like, hey, we haven't really thought about this, but is Hamilton really the dream?
Most would say no.
Yeah. Give me 3 guesses of what the answer was. So from the moment we had that conversation, my wife works in forensic mental health. So there's only a few locations around Ontario, Penetang being one of them with Waypoint.
Mm-hmm.
So within, I think 3 or 4 months of having that conversation, she got a new job. We made the move, bought a house, got engaged, and got a dog. We just we're like, let's do all the life things all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. And working on the happily ever after part now.
Amazing. I think it's cool, like having Waypoint and Central North, like the correctional center as well, being in our backyard. Essentially, we get some really cool people ending up coming to live in our community who work at those facilities, right? So
well, as you know,
jury's still out
on
here. If we're cool or not, but
up until the Boston accent, you were doing well.
Damn it. Fair. Well, I'll just cut that part from the episode and we'll be fine.
No, come on, Richard. You gotta leave the Boston accent.
Unfortunately, Ben does all the editing, so if he wants to cut it out, he's gonna cut it out.
No!
Yep. Sorry, guys.
Until I clip it on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's what we should. True. That's what you should open with. Is right? the accent.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the Open House podcast.
Yeah. That was worse.
Yeah, of course it's worse.
That sounded like
I don't have as much practice as you.
Creepy man in an alleyway or something.
Right?
Okay, so that was my question for Ben, is how you got here. My question for Richard is, if you weren't doing mortgages and podcasts and that sort of financy kind of realm, what would you be doing?
Probably just like you, anything to do with people. I really like psychology. So again, talking to people, getting deep, understanding their motivations, why they do things, and then helping them kind of figure out what's next or how to work with that. And I think when I was leaving the bank, that was something that crossed my mind, was going to school to get my master's or something like that in that big endeavor. I wasn't sure I was willing to financially take that on or put in the time. But that's why I like finances, because it is very intimate. It is very like connected to people personally. And when you have those conversations, someone is being ultimately vulnerable, right? People, if they're afraid to talk about anything, a lot of the time it's their money. So when they're willing to share that with you, it goes beyond that too. You, like you said, with the kids and everything, with the photos, you see them through their trials and you know, you hear about it and probably stay with them for a really long time. And you're part of that support system that's going to help them get there. So I feel like I'm in a good place. Like, this is the right place for me. My brain does work really well with numbers, so it's a good combination. But yeah, definitely anything to do with people. But I maybe owning a bar too. I did almost buy Cellarman's in 2019 actually. And I did bartend for a few years back in the day, and I did love that, just being myself. A little bit immature.
Kind of a therapist in a way. You're dealing with lots of people and getting to hear about their psychology. So
yeah, and they are super vulnerable on the bar, right? People are drinking, they're very vulnerable, and you just make friends and you're just kind of hanging out. I was never good at making drinks though. I used to say to people, they'd be like, "Can you make me this?" And I'd be like, "Actually, no, I'm not a bartender. I'm a banker. I just work at a bar on the side, but I'll try."
Like, I can pour you a beer and it'll have a 5-inch head on it. But...
Right. Definitely for the first few months it came out like that, but I did get better. It's all like the fancy drinks that people want. I just could never do, like a Negroni and stuff, which is a shame because I love Negronis.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely in another life.
Cool.
Kevin, you've been... Sorry, did you have another question, Richard?
Of course, I could go on forever, but
I know. I know. Yeah. Get it in there.
You keep me in control.
I know. / yeah. No, go ahead, Richard. Go ahead, and then
I was going to ask Kevin. Just maybe this is a bigger question: is what's next for Kevin Cascagnette? Where do you see this playing out in the next 5-10 years for yourself?
Oh boy.
Yes, ending with this. I like that.
That's big.
Good question, Richard.
That's a big one. Oh boy.
It doesn't have to be a grand scheme,
Take
but
your time.
maybe in some things that you might know by now. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I know in my, day-to-day collaborative house environment, we're working towards me having more of a team of designers and people working under me and me getting to provide more creative direction that way. So I see more of that, more leadership in that company, more management in that company, that sort of thing. That's like work life, I guess. Business, my own business, I'm so happy with how it operates now. I do as many weddings as I feel like doing, and I have these great clients year after year that I get to witness and capture. And if the next 10 years continue in that way, I'll be happy as anything. And then personally, I think it's just continuing to try and make this community better. I think we get a lot of communities, small communities all over our country right now are going through some troubling times, and just in general, it's some troubling times. And I think if the next 10 years, all I'm focusing on is just trying to make it a little bit better and have a little more love in my heart to give to people and connecting more people to one another, that's all I really need out of the next 10 years, I think.
Wow. I love that. Yes,
definitely. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us, two goofs over here. This has been great, man. I at the fear of being rejected, I won't ask you if you want to hang out sometime, because you seem like a really cool guy, and so you can answer later. That's totally fine. But yeah, man,
absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Friends.
Oh my God, friends!
I told you this is how it happens.
Adult friendships. Oh gosh, they're great. Yeah, but man, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. I think I speak for our community when I say our community appreciates you. And man, just keep it up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Keep influencing us all to just be that bit better. And I know we'll be seeing you everywhere again shortly, I'm sure. And I really appreciate you coming on. Want to make you could have all sorts of people. I really do have an endless list, but there are people that really have something special. And again, we were so curious about you. So thank you for coming on, because it's not easy just jumping on someone else's show and talking about yourself.
Oh, it was great. We got to shoot the shit. And
that's how I think about it.
Great.
It was great. I had a great time. So thanks so much for having me, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks and
Kevin.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Richard.
Yes, I know.
You got it.
Amazing guest.
God damn. You set the bar. Now if I ever bring on a guest, which I will, I swear, I promise I will. But damn it, Richard.
No.
If you made it this far in the episode, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Make sure, wherever you're listening on to this episode, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or Amazon Music or Apple Podcasts, or really wherever you get your podcast, to like and rate the show, subscribe if that's an option for you, and give us some feedback. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, which I'm going to assume is nothing at this point.
Except the Boston accent.
Except the bod. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. And we've got so many more great guests coming for you. I mean, Richard's just pumping them out like it's candy over the rest of the season. So make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thank you so
all
much,
on board with that.
everyone.
Thank you for asking everybody to subscribe. That's always a miss on my part. So.
Right. No, don't worry. I got us. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by the open house.
I hope you enjoyed the show, the snacks, the listen. Come back again when the house is open.
Bye.
Bye.